A billionaire just bought a football club that loses money on purpose, and the tax office is now investigating why. That sentence sounds backwards, but it's exactly how modern football ownership works. Today, we're breaking down why billionaires keep buying football clubs, and the answer has almost nothing to do with trophies. Start with the tax trick nobody talks about. In the U.S., when you buy a sports franchise, you're allowed to write off almost the entire purchase price against your taxes over 15 years. That includes things like player contracts and media rights, assets that don't actually lose value. They usually gain value. But on paper, the IRS lets owners treat them like a delivery van rusting away in a parking lot. Take Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. He was able to write off $700 million in losses during years when the team was actually profitable. Real money coming in, zero tax owed. That's not an accident, that's the business model. And it's a huge reason American money keeps flooding into European football. It's not ego, it's a legal shelter with a scoreboard attached. Now, here's where it gets stranger. The IRS has actually launched a specific investigation into sports team owners after reporting revealed some were declaring incomes for their teams far lower than what those teams were really earning. So why do billionaires buy clubs that lose money isn't just a fan complaint anymore. It's a live federal investigation. But tax tricks are just one layer. Sometimes the club doesn't just look like it's losing money. It actually is, because the owners built it that way. Manchester United is the textbook case. In 2005, the Glazer family bought the club using roughly £540 million borrowed from 3 New York hedge funds. Here's the twist. Over £260 million of that debt was secured directly against United itself. The club didn't just get bought, it helped pay for its own takeover. Since then, United has paid over £1 billion in interest alone, money that never touched a player, a pitch, or a trophy. Meanwhile, the Glazers pocketed over £150 million in dividends. At one point, they even sold United's own training ground and leased it straight back to the club. Selling something you don't need, then renting it from yourself? That's not football, that's a corporate raid with a badge on it. And it worked. The Glazers' original investment has grown from £750 million to roughly $5 billion. The owners get richer, the club gets deeper in debt. Two completely different scoreboards, and most fans only ever see one of them. It got so bad that England is now building an actual regulator to stop it from happening again, with the power to cap how much debt a buyer can load onto a club during a takeover, a rule that exists because of one family's spreadsheet. Then there's the ownership model built on pure fantasy. 777 Partners bought 7 football clubs across 5 countries: Genoa, Hertha Berlin, Standard Liège, Vasco da Gama, and more. Prosecutors say the man running it had less than $500,000 in cash at one point and sent a lender a screenshot of a bank account he'd edited in Microsoft Paint to fake having $8 million instead. Investigators later found over $2 billion linked to his firm had come from insurance money that was supposed to protect injury victims, not investors, victims. And multi-club ownership in general isn't the family of clubs story it's sold as. When firms buy 5 or 6 clubs using borrowed money, they're not building community, they're building inventory, players and assets they can shuffle between clubs they own, dodging the rules designed to stop clubs from spending money they don't have. Even state-linked ownership comes with its own paper trail. When Saudi Arabia's public investment fund bought Newcastle, the Premier League approved it after receiving legally binding assurances the Saudi state wouldn't control the club. 2 years later, in a completely unrelated court case about golf, PIF's own lawyers described the fund as a sovereign instrumentality of the Saudi state and called its governor, who also happens to chair Newcastle, a sitting government minister. The Premier League never publicly explained the contradiction. So why do billionaires keep buying football clubs? Not one reason. A tax shelter, a leveraged asset, a political tool, sometimes even a fraud. The club on the pitch is real, but the club on the balance sheet is a completely different game, and most fans are watching the wrong one. If you want to keep seeing where the real money in football actually goes, subscribe. This is just the beginning.